What if I told you that the language you speak doesn't just describe your world, it actually creates it? We're about to dive into this wild idea that language isn't just for talking, it's the original operating system for the human mind.
But let's start with a question, a little thought experiment. What if you couldn't see a color, even if it was right there, staring you in the face? Seriously, imagine it.
Now, this isn't just some hypothetical, this is real. A scientific study of an indigenous community in Namibia uncovered something completely astonishing that changes how we think about perception. So here's what the researchers found. In this community's language, they didn't have a separate, distinct word for the color blue. Instead, both blue and green were basically lumped together under the same color category, described by the same word. And here's the absolute kicker. When they were shown a circle of green squares with just one blue one mixed in, many of them actually struggled to even spot the different one. It wasn't about their eyesight. Their eyes were perfectly fine. The difference was in their language. Because they had no word, no mental bucket for blue, it just didn't pop out at them. Just let that sink in for a second. Language doesn't just put labels on things we already see. It's more like a filter or a lens that actually shapes what we are capable of seeing in the first place. And, this whole idea goes way, way deeper than just colors. If we think of language as our mental operating system, then let's take a look at the actual code that's running inside our heads. Okay, so there's a formal name for this. It's called the Sapir-Whorf hypothesis. And the core idea is actually pretty simple, but it's so profound. It says the language you speak directly influences how you see and sort the world around you. It's basically the programming language your brain is running on every single day. And we're not just talking about what we can physically see. The words we use can completely change how we understand huge, complex ideas. Things like mental health, our experience of pain, our concepts of justice, and even how we feel the passage of time itself. So, if this is already making you second-guess the code running in your own mind, and you want to keep digging into mind-bending ideas like this, do us a quick favor. Hit that like button and subscribe to Project Human. We're all about exploring the stuff that shapes our world. All right, let's bring this down to earth. How does this code actually work in the real world? How do words really create the worlds we all live in? Well, just look at this comparison. Imagine a society that has only one really blunt word for any kind of mental struggle, a word like madness. The only response available is usually just as blunt. You exclude that person, you fear them. But now picture another society, one with a much richer vocabulary. Words like depression, anxiety, grief, stress. All of a sudden, a whole new world of responses opens up. Support, therapy, real understanding. The person going through it is the same in both places, biologically speaking. The only real difference, the game-changing difference, is the vocabulary they have to make sense of it. The words literally pave the road to two completely different destinies. And get this, it's a two-way street. Culture also shapes our language. Think about it. When our culture starts experiencing something new, like mass exhaustion from work, we create a word for it, burnout. And once that word exists, it gives millions of people a handle on their experience, a way to talk about it, which then shapes the culture right back. It's this constant feedback loop. So this all leads to a really critical question. If language has the power to shape our reality, then controlling language, well, that's a profound kind of power. And a new battle for who holds that power is just getting started. Because think about it, if our words really do define the world we live in, then whoever gets to shape our language gets to shape reality itself. Now, for most of human history, that power really belonged to poets, to politicians, to philosophers. They were the architects of language. But today, there's a new force in the arena, and it's AI. Large language models are now beginning to shape our collective language on a scale we've never seen before. And we're not just talking about an AI writing your emails. This is much bigger. AI is starting to create the metaphors we use to understand the world. It's defining the narratives we tell ourselves, and it's subtly shifting how whole generations think and communicate. It's a fundamental change. And that brings us right back to where we started. See, this was never just a cool story about a word for the color blue. This is about the foundational code, the literal operating system that our entire civilization runs on. And right now, that system is getting a massive update.
So I'll leave you with this final thought. The next great battle for power might not be fought over land or weapons. It might be fought over the words we use to define what is real. So, what do you think that future looks like?